We have lorwyn cards. Well, correction. We have one lorwyn card. Hi guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we talk and discuss all things Pauper. I am your host Teasdale, and this is my co-host, the burning curiosity himself, Reese.
Hello.
Spoiler, bet you can't guess what the card is. Before we start, don't forget to support us by rating us 5 stars on Spotify, following us on Twitter at CastingCommons1 for the most recent Pauper deck lists, and of course, subscribe to us on YouTube. How are you doing? You good?
Yeah, sound. You definitely missed a good one though, given that we said lorwyn would be a slow burner.
Yeah. No, I've missed it. Right, restart the whole
thing. I'm sound. Yeah, I'm sound. Lorwyn's been great. Played a couple of drafts. Really cool format. Obviously a lot of nostalgia sort of pulling me back in, but the set's really good and the draft format's really good. And now we're seeing stuff come to Pauper as well, which is even more of a bonus. So wins all round.
You'll be start playing standard soon then, with all the lorwyn hype.
I don't know about that because it just looks like whatever's the best card ever printed is in every deck. And then they ban that card, and then the next best card is in every deck. Went from VV in every deck to Badger Mole Cub in every deck. They'll ban that, and then it'll be something else in every deck.
Yeah, very true. Sure. I guess I'll take your word for it. I haven't really seen, to be honest, but yeah.
No, I had a brief look at the PT. It just does not look appealing at all. I don't know how they get it so wrong every time.
Who knows? But on other things, we are going to look at we have a Pauper thought, I guess. We are going to talk about what could Wizards do to support / grow the Pauper as a format, basically.
Given the what we've just said about Standard, maybe we don't want them to do anything. Maybe we don't want them to acknowledge the format in case it goes the way of Standard and just gets absolutely broken every set release.
Yeah, I think that it's a very fine line, right? For sure.
Yeah.
It's like, look at the whole Commander aspect, right? I don't know about anyone else, but I played a lot of Commander when actual casual tabletop Commander, when it wasn't really a thing. They barely just really released decks. Occasionally had cool new Commanders like a Loro, that sort of thing. That was sort of my era of Commander. I feel like now I look at it, I'm just like, every set's here's a staple. Here's a staple. I'm like, yeah. Where's the I want to do things, I want to add cool things myself, and I want it to be this thing that's over here, but it's no, you must have it like this.
Yeah.
And that's
I think the biggest thing really I've heard in that sort of aspect on Commander in particular, I guess, is the consistency of it for a 100 card singleton format is now just pretty ridiculous because there's basically 10 copies of every effect you could want. But they've all got different names, so there's basically just no restriction actually on the format.
Yeah.
If you want a 2-mana ramp spell, there's 12 different 2-mana ramp spells that you can play, and they all do it essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, we're not here about Commander or EDH or whatever you want to call it. Podcast. We are a Pauper podcast, so we've jotted a few things down. Sort of just talking points of what we think that they could do with a very fine line. I think one of them is one to sort of make sure that we get is the first one on the thing is to make sure that we are very clear on which one that is, because the ones that have been mentioned in the past by other people on Reddit and things is a Pauper Horizons, which by the way sort of stems on what we were talking about of please don't. But yeah. I think the first one on the list is Pauper Masters, basically, which is a Masters set, which we've had Modern Masters previously, where it's a good way to put things. It was a good reprint set, right? To basically, for accessibility purposes, that made a draft format that also just made it more open for people to get into Modern, was the idea.
Yeah, Modern Masters were great. They were all very good, to be fair. The draft formats, in particular MH2, I remember being really good. And that is something you could translate to Pauper. You'd have to do it in a bit of a different way, I think, to sell to a wider audience. Obviously, Modern at the time was like one of the more wide audiences that they had. They've obviously done Commander Masters, which is the widest audience they've got. Pauper obviously being a much smaller niche. You would have to expand it by, I think, if they did some of the like collector booster stuff into the normal set. Obviously, you're not getting rares essentially. So if you replace that slot with like serialized cards or different foil versions of old cards, like there's a lot of old style or old cards that don't have foils that are legal in Pauper and are seeing play in Pauper that people would want for other formats. And same with like serialized stuff and different treatments and stuff like that. Like if you're getting like full art foil dark rituals, it's going to appeal to a lot wider of an audience.
Yeah, it is, as you say, it would have to be done in a way, right? Because obviously the biggest thing is you can't really put a rare in, so it is fixing that problem, and that is not the word. Like, it's a good idea to bring it to other formats to appeal to it, but also then, as you say, like it then allows us to bring out these sort of decks in Pauper as well as appeal to the masses, which is good.
And I think that's the biggest issue with stuff like this, or the other stuff we're going to speak about as well, for Pauper in particular, because the audience is smaller than Modern and Commander. It sort of initially looks as if, well, what's the point? You make less money. I guess it's the Hasbro angle. But if you can position it in a way that people want to buy it, even if they don't play Pauper, you're going to get the people who play Pauper buying it, and then you're going to get the people who don't play Pauper buying it as well. You just need to design it in a way where it's a good draft format, because then you get all the limited people buying it, and then throw the like serialized cards, the foil cards, the stuff in for the Legacy, the Modern, the Commander players, and then unpopular opinion at Wizards, I imagine, but make it more affordable. It doesn't need to be priced as a Masters set because it doesn't have rares in. So just price it more reasonably, and then I think they would do gangbusters, to be fair, because there's plenty of cards that would be expensive in all art foil treatments like Lotus Petals, Dark Rituals, Dust to Dusts, stuff like that is just not either not available or already very expensive.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Totally fair. The excuse me. The next one on the list for us is event decks or Pauper-based events. So they did the was it Challenger decks? I think they did. Was that for Pioneer? Something like that. And they've done one for Standard in the past. I can't remember if have they done one for Modern. I don't think so. I could be wrong on that one.
Not that I'm aware of.
But they did I remember they did the Pioneer ones, which were pretty good. And you basically just bought it and you were almost there as a deck. Obviously, for Pauper, you probably don't need to, you know what I mean? There's probably no need to be an almost either.
Yeah.
Which is the big thing.
The Standard ones back in the day as well, the ones I remember were literally just like, they sold ridiculous amounts. Because one was the Stoneforge Mystic deck. So you just got two Stoneforges, so people were just buying 2 copies of the deck. And then they've all got the playset of Stoneforges, and then the deck's pretty reasonable by itself anyway. And then the other one had like Bloodghasts and Verdant Catacombs and stuff in, so again, people just bought a bunch that they went absolute nuts on selling those ones. I like the idea. I think it's a good idea, but it needs supported by other, like they need to actually push the format to be, I guess, advertised by themselves. Like if they're making products like event decks, they need events for you to play in. I think if they put it out as like an F&M format or something, and then did like 5 event decks, and as you say, they could literally just do full decks because the cards aren't expensive. They could do like mono red, terror, elves, stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't even rotate either. So you can make it 3 months in advance and then you're not out of date, or you can design it 6 months in advance and it's not really out of date when they come to print them. Which is probably the advantage to doing it with something like Pauper as opposed to Standard, where you make an event deck 6 months in advance and then when it comes out, no one plays that deck anymore. It's bad.
Yeah. And to be fair, even how they've the Pioneer and the standard ones, like as you say, with the 2 Storm Forges and stuff, I'm not even against that to an extent. Like if they want to make Mono Red Madness but put 2 Pyroblasts in it in the side, so you have to buy 2. I actually don't care. I don't even think that's not like if that's the money grab scheme, like to get your playset you have to buy 2. I'm not against that. If after that it's basically is the full deck.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
but I think sort of the main point of that, which sort of really ties into our other points, is they need to already be wanting to push the format to get people playing the format before they can start even looking at products like that. Because if you just drop that now, it just wouldn't sell at all. Like the people who know would buy it, and then there would just be loads sat on the shelves, and people would be like, "Well, what's this format? No one plays it at F&M."
Yeah.
But that sort of segues into the our next point, which is support it as an LGS scheme. So have it as like an option for RTQs, have it as options for F&M. Obviously, you can play Magic Online and qualify for the PT, but you can't play Paper Pauper and qualify for the PT, which to me doesn't really make much sense because it's the same game.
Yeah, it's a really strange one, isn't it? Because obviously most of the time Paper RCQs just follow the sort of seasons, right? They do like is it standard, modern, and limited or something? I actually don't even know.
I think it's just literally standard and modern at the moment. They don't seem to have any variation. They basically sacrificed Pioneer. They've just forgot sat there in the corner. No one plays that anymore, and it seems to just rotate between standard and modern.
Right, but yeah, that's the thing at the moment. Is it just seems to just follow the RC season, which I can get to an extent, but then also there's no reason why Pauper can't be an RC season. There's no reason why most of the formats can't be an RC season, to be honest. But
yeah, I think modern sort of shows that there's not really a reason that it's modern. Like it probably if they were wanting it to sell products, it should probably just be standard and limited, and it should just rotate between standard and limited. Because they're the 2 formats that sell the products. Especially now all the UB stuff is standard legal. But the fact that modern's there is because there's lots of players that like the format. And you could do the same with Pauper. Obviously you have to grow it, but it to me is a lot easier to grow than something like modern if Wizards put their force behind it. Like the decks are much cheaper. The barrier to entry is obviously much lower because of that. You can pick up a few decks. You don't have to spend your entire income on one deck and then never play anything else.
Yeah. But obviously the main difference is, which unfortunately is just for some reason Paper RCs and RCQs just follow a system, which definitely could squeeze Pauper into that system. Magic Online just sort of does a cycle on the formats they have on Magic Online. So it kind of includes them all, which again is a better way of doing it in my opinion, because you're supporting every format to some degree. Like you get people who don't normally play Pauper or don't normally play Legacy or don't normally play Vintage, and for that period of time they'll go in, they'll test it, they'll play it, and then they'll leave, which is still fine to do. Like you still get that influx of players on those periods.
And I think that's the sort of ties the RCQs to the whole pushing the format out to new people in general. Is if it's an RCQ format, the people that want to play in the RCQs will just play it. From my experience, they basically have no format preference. They just whatever is the RCQ, they'll just play that format until the next season comes, and then they'll play the new format.
Yeah, it's my sort of understanding. Like, even if the format of their RCQ choice is something they do not prefer, they will still be playing it over the format they do prefer, because they want all the testing and all the practice and all that sort of stuff. So that sort of thing is irrelevant. But as we know, Pauper's the greatest format anyways, so then why not play it as Pauper, because they'll enjoy it? I mean, it's a rule. But yeah, it definitely should be sort of supported in that sense, both locally for like F&Ms and, WPN stuff or whatever. Then you've got obviously the RCQ stuff as well, which it should also, all of that encompassing should all be supported. The The last one is more just because, well, I feel like this one should be true about everything because I don't really like the idea of having two softwares doing two different things completely. But proper Pauper on Arena should be there. But I feel like it's a hard ask at this point because it seems to be hard to backfit everything. I feel like they are getting there very, very slowly. I think they're almost at Pioneer or are at Pioneer, right? Somewhere close.
I guess it depends how they do it. Like, they've already shown that they will, like in Pioneer's case, they will put formats on with cards missing if those cards aren't particularly relevant to the format. You could very easily get Pauper on Arena as like the top percentage of the format, and then like you maybe miss cards like Tortured Existence, for example, or like weird old cards. But does that really have that much of an impact when you've got a vast majority of the format now on your biggest client?
Yeah, it definitely just seems like I don't understand why like everything seems to be slow and struggly with Arena. I don't get it. Like I just want it to be on there as an option. You know, people want to play Pauper on their phone. That's all I would like to do. But nope, ain't an option. But yeah, I think these are definitely some easy pushes, I think, to sort of put it on the map for sure for a lot of the larger player base. I think for me as well, like I think the reason why putting Pauper as like support is another good thing, which I think we sort of touched on it last week about like defining Pauper. Is it's a very good 60 card format that transitions Commander players very well. Which when they push Commander when they push Commander so much, and then they're very reluctant to go, I'm not spending this much money on Standard, I'm not spending this much money on Modern, because everything rotates, everything's expensive, blah, 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 blah. Saying, here is my flagship Commander format, which is all good. Here is another 60 card format you can also play in a more sociable way that is significantly cheaper than anything else you can do. To me, that seems like a great thing to do, but hey-oh.
I think quite funnily as well, obviously Magic originally was designed to be a game you would play in between games of D&D.
Yeah.
I feel like Pauper is a game you can play in between games of Commander. In like the sort of same vein.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else to add on how we think they could support and grow Pauper as a format?
No.
So yeah, just a bit of housekeeping, a couple of tournament news. We have the 4th of April. There is the Scrap King Cup. It is the first of its kind at Tabletop Dominion Accrington. The winner gets a revised Savannah. There is also like every player that enters adds like 2 lorwyn boosters. There's Pauper staples added to the prize pool. There's treasure tokens and stuff, it seems like a pretty cool event. So the link is in the show notes.
It sounds really cool. I'm going to see if we can get some people down to this one because it does sound really good. And for once, it's not actually that far from us.
Yeah.
Only 2 hours.
For anyone that doesn't know, it takes us an hour to leave the county. So we're sort of like, yeah. Then the other event is Recollect. Recollect in Chester are running a lorwyn Pauper winner box on Saturday, the 21st of Feb. £15 entry, 11 a.m. start. A link for that as well is in the description.
Another one that we enjoy going to. I'll see if anyone's down for that one as well.
Moving on to some news. There isn't a Saturday challenge this week due to MTGO issues. They were having like stuck matches where people were just stuck in games. So they ended up just closing down pretty much the entire client, I believe. Cancelled most events. So that is why there's nothing for the Saturday. But we have 3 other challenges to cover, so it is all good. If you would like to take it away.
Moving on to the challenges. Thursday, the 29th of January was the first one. 49 players. So a sort of average number for a Thursday now, I think, is usually around the 50s. First place was Blue Black Fate. Second place was Grix Affinity. Third place was Dredge. Fourth was Mono Blue Fate. Fifth was Rally Red. Sixth was Grix Affinity. Seventh was Elves. And eighth was Mono Blue Terror. And then the two near misses, 9th was Ruby Storm and 10th was Rakdos Madness. I also find it funny that it's like Ruby Storm, even though the Ruby's not in and there's no Storm cards.
Hey, there's weather storms in the sideboard.
Well, yeah, but we know what we're on about. I guess that's a reasonable place to start, given it's sort of comical name.
Yeah.
Burning Curiosity.
Yes.
We thought it would be there, and it is there.
Yes. I am a bit dubious on not on this card, but on more the deck history. That I feel like if this card is obviously it's there and it's sort of seems to be performing pretty well. There's 3 in this list. For those that don't know what this card does, it is 2 and a red. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may blight 1. And then you can exile the top 2 cards of your library, and then if the additional cost was paid, you exile the top 3 cards instead. And then until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So, the interesting thing that I was curious about when we were talking about this card as a spoiler is if you can blight onto a spawn made from Glimpse the Impossible, and then use the spawn to pay its cost, so then effectively you're not losing out on mana. You can't do that. But then this card is then still performing. So there is a card that's from Dragonstorm or Tarkir Dragonstorm. It's called like Seize Opportunity, which is essentially a Ren's Resolve, but costs 2 and a red. So it's a 3 mana Reckless Impulse effect, effectively, which hasn't really seen play in these lists. So my only thought on this is that effect that good? That obviously this can go to 3 cards, bear that in mind. But is the effect that good that they should have been potentially try and seize the opportunity either now or before this card, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I think obviously the being able to go to 3 cards is obviously quite relevant as well. Definitely not sort of out of the question, especially once you are sort of mid combo. You can like kill off your Thornscape familiars to do it and stuff like that. But yeah, I could see them like maybe supposed to play seize the opportunity previously, but because it's modal, isn't it? Is it got like a pump spell on the other side? Which I guess is sort of not really relevant though, is the only thing. But yeah, I could see it. I mean, you can also just like the blight 1 onto 1 spawn. Like you lose one mana. Like the 3 cards, it's got to be pretty relevant a lot of the time. You've got the 4 glimpses, you've got the 4 Archaeomancers, you've got the 4 Thornscapes, and then there's a 1 of Leyline Weaver, which is the spider manifestation, is it? The mana dog?
Yeah, it is.
So you have a bunch of targets, and then you've got the sort of, I guess, newer wing con of first day class Caesar Storm. So you even have the out of casting a first day class like earlier and then getting your tokens or playing another cost reducer and then lighting onto it and it doesn't die. So yeah, I think I'm not sure if they should have played the Dragonstorm one, but this one seems probably a lot better.
It does.
Than we really considered. Because even just losing the occasional guy to get extra cards is probably what you want to be doing anyway.
But yeah, it's a pretty cool deck, to be fair, and I like the idea of obviously the first day class sort of lesson sideboard, along with obviously all the other stuff that's it's got going on with the seize the opportunity. You can just literally just first day class early with 1 sort of Archaeomancer down, and then all the other familiars which you kind of want to play anyways, sort of end up being really strong. And obviously you can just play a bunch. Obviously your spider manifestation gains haste. You can keep on tapping it. It sort of acts like a weird like familiar. You get like really cool things that you can basically just go, oh, I've now got 4 familiars down. I guess this first day class is kind of is done some work and I can now just attack for lethal sort of thing. Had some like really cool lines.
I think that is the other thing that the first day class Caesar Storm as a win con opens up a lot more is this lesson or learn sideboard, which this has gone a lot deeper into it than we've seen in stuff like Heroic, for example, that runs like 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lessons you can get from this.
Yeah.
For basically whatever situation if you need to kill a guy, if you need to draw some cards, if you need to kill an enchantment or protect a creature. There's even one, the how to start a riot, that gives menace. So if your Caesar Storm Serpenty token isn't getting through, if trample's not good enough, you can give it the combination of menace and trample, which is usually pretty good. They've definitely gone deep on it on the lesson side, but I'm interested to know sort of how relevant the lessons were. Obviously, a lot of them say like abandoned attachments, being able to just grab that off when you cast your first day class and then cast it and pitch a land and draw 2 more cards seems ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I was very against, like, in, say, like Mogwarts, having abandoned attachments in the sideboard, as you end up paying like 2 mana for what you could already rummage for an extra card. But when you have familiars, like, the first day is cheaper, the abandoned attachments is cheaper, so it just makes no sense. It's like a no-brainer, right? Like, for the same cost of what a first day class would have been, you get to see more cards.
Yeah, you get the effect for 1 mana, and then you get a discard and draw 2 for 1 mana. It's pretty good. Definitely.
But yeah, I think I can't tell whose list this is. I would assume something similar would be towards Kalakai's on his channel somewhere. But yeah, it's definitely pretty sweet. I like the Caesar Stormwind con. I like the whole big mana draw spells make treasures. Like the 4 Pirates Pillage and the...
Big Score.
So on.
Yeah.
It's a sweet sort of interaction.
Yeah, it seems really interesting. Obviously gained cards from lorwyn, but also gained quite a lot from Avatar with that sideboard as well. So got a lot of tools in 2 very recent sets. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit more of this from now on.
Yeah, definitely.
Outside of that, the other decks were a lot more normal, I guess. Most of them were pretty stock. The 3rd place French was once again Season of Mists, running the Molten Gatekeeper version, but they are not playing the 1 mana guy this time, right? And instead have gone back on to Norse in the main.
Yep.
The Rubble Belt Maverick. They're not playing the Maverick, and have gone back to Norse in the main. Obviously, there's a lot of aggressive decks about at the moment. Other than that, Bath with another win, nearly 5 in a row. Just 4 in a, well, two, then 2 in a row over 2 weeks. On the Blue Black Fair, again, a pretty stock looking list, very similar, if not the same as he played last week.
Yeah, I think so. It looks. Did they play Seer and Miscreant last time? I can't remember. Or was that someone else? That might have been someone else. They all blend into one, all these fair players. So. But yeah.
Any of the other decks you want to touch on?
I don't think so. All looked fairly stock.
Yeah. Moving on to the Friday the 30th, 57 players, so fairly decent turnout for the Friday. First place is Heroic. Second place, Mono Blue Terror. Third place, Xfinity. Fourth place, Mono Red Madness. Fifth place, Blue Black Fair. Sixth and seventh, a pair of Mono Blue Terrors. Eighth, Boros Moxite. And then the 2 near misses, ninth, Grix Affinity. And 10th, Rally Red. Heroic, getting there, getting the dub.
Woo!
Once again. It's the guiding voice sort of lesson learn version that we've been seeing recently. Looks fairly similar to the list we've seen last week, going on the 8 heroic creatures and then the 4 Wonderweave aerialists and then the remote farm as the land package as well. Yeah, sweet to see. Only the Yip Yip and the 1 airbending lesson as well in the side, just the 1 of each. So a lot lighter than the Ruby Storm that we previously just spoke about.
Definitely. I do think, don't quote me on this because my memory is probably a bit hazy. I think they went up on a remote farm. I think the previous list only ran 3.
Yeah, I can see that.
But again, we sort of talked about it last week, right? Remote farm seems really great to, play on 1, on 2, play your guy and have protection up, or put an enchantment up to make it above rate. Like,
Yeah,
all of
it
that
gives
stuff.
you a very good curve.
Yep.
Um,
So it makes sense.
Heroic, ideally, like you just want to play like 12 Lagoon and ban Trailblazers, really, don't you?
Yeah.
But you don't have that opportunity. So having the remote farm sort of lets you play the Sky Guards and the Aerialists in that sort of vein where you can play it and then it won't die immediately.
Yep.
Because 4 toughness on Trailblazer is pretty obnoxious for the red decks.
Yep. Pun not intended, honest.
Outside of that, second place Mono Blue Terror was Weber. So shout out to Weber. PFP representing a pretty stock, if not a very stock list of Mono Blue Terror. The only sort of deviation, I guess, is there's only one Demon Inferior and he's opted for extra Spell Pierce or a Spell Pierce. With the other 1-mana counters being 4 Spike. Sort of a bit of an interesting change to go down 1 removal and up on a 1-mana counter. I'm not massively sure what that's in favour of, I guess. Yeah, Spell Pierce seems reasonable at the moment, but Demon Inferior also seems reasonable, and I imagine in the finals he would have rather had probably a Demon Inferior than a Spell Pierce.
Yeah, probably. But I guess they're attempting to be the aggro in the most case, so protection is king, I guess. But I can't imagine that. But I can't imagine that played off against the heroic player.
Yeah. Sideboard wise, full 4 good shots as well, which is sort of necessary at the moment. And then a 1 of Dispel and a 1 of Envelop, so splitting the like extra cards give you a bit more utility. Envelop, since High Tide's gone, seems very lackluster. Like, there's sort of some spots you want it, but a lot of the time it could just be one of the other cards and it would be fine in those spots. Like, against Wildfire, if it was just a Spell Pierce, it would probably do the exact same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem amazing at the moment, I guess. But I guess it's also like a hard counter against like Dread Return, I guess. But it's like, how much do you care about that? Like Spy and Dredge.
It's like even in that though, like the Spell Pierce for the most part does that as well.
Yeah.
Like if the Dread Returning with all the mana up, it's like pretty strange. Outside of that, again, sort of very stock looking lists from the others. Blue Black Vein 5th is Bath once again, so just continuous top 8. The Boros Moxite list has sort of gone back to some old Boros tech, I guess, with 3 Inspiring Overseer, which is a card I have not seen played in Pauper for quite a long time. The 2 and a white for a 2/1 flyer, when it enters you, gain a life and draw a card. Used to be like a staple in the like Boros Initiative style decks. And then basically just everyone decided it was unplayable and no one played it ever again until now.
Yeah, I don't understand the reason behind it, to be honest. I guess it trades with Delver. I guess it blocks fairies and trades up with ninjas, but other than that, there's a lot of things that just do that better, but yeah, it's not really great.
Obviously, being the Moxite deck, you've got Snackers in. I guess it shifts a bit more power to the air to like support the Skyfishes, Glinthawks, and Snackers, while also doing some of the work to get back a Snacker. Like you've got a few, like just essentially cards lying about with Lembus, Novice Inspector, Clues, Relics, and then the Inspiring Overseers. So it could just be like a reasonable body that is a second card draw. Or a third card draw.
Yeah. Definitely a interesting one for sure. But cool to see. Always happy to see it. See more play.
Yeah.
Especially not in ephemerate decks as well. In a lot more fairer decks.
Outside of that, is there anything else you want to touch on?
Just also cards that I haven't seen for quite a while in the Boros sideboard. The Light of Hope. Classic. Absolutely love this card. One white modal instant. You choose one, you game 4, destroy an enchantment, or you put a counter on target creature. Always a class. Haven't really seen much play outside of since Destroy Evil's printing, I guess, as of late. But
yeah, sorry, I'm just absolutely dying of something stuck in my throat. Yeah, Light of Hope is a cool one, but yeah, you are right. It's sort of a bit of a lackluster card now when you look at the competition.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess it sort of fills a similar like destroy evil type role while also filling the what's the priest, the 2-mana 2/1 that gains 4?
Law Missionary.
Law Missionary, like while also having you can also bring this in against the aggressive decks.
Mm.
But I don't know, like all the effects are pretty mid.
Yep.
And you don't really have much to utilize it.
Protect that core Skyfisher against a bolt as well in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, like it has outs, but it just seems like its
great.
time is probably gone.
Yep.
Other than that, the only other thing I noticed was the 10th place Rally Red, 3 suplex in the sideboard, which was one that sort of didn't do anything. Then everyone was playing them in the sideboard, and then no one was playing them in the sideboard again. So it's sort of an interesting point to see them back alongside Cast Into the Fire as well, not instead of.
Yeah, I guess it's obviously pretty good at dealing. Obviously, exile effects are pretty good in general. It's good, obviously, dealing with quite a lot of stuff, but I guess it must fall in and out of favour depending on how relevant people think that is. For sure.
Yeah, moving on. The Saturday challenge obviously didn't fire, as you previously mentioned, which is a shame. So we're going straight to the Sunday. 59 players, so a bit lower for the Sunday. Not sure if that is to do with people being like, oh, well, it was absolutely shambles yesterday, so I'm not going to bother trying. First place was Colgates. Second was Mono Blue Fair. Third was Mono Blue Terror. Fourth was Grix Affinity. Fifth was Elves. Sixth was Firewalls. Seventh was Mono Red Madness. And eighth was Rally Red. And then the 2 near misses. Ninth was Firewalls. And 10th was Dredge. I guess just touching on the Elves. Not that it's particularly interesting, like it's the stock list, but more after how well Elves did last week. Basically just being multiple copies in all the challenges. I expected it to do basically nothing this week. I expected it to be everyone gunning for it and it to not do anything, but it's still converted into 2 top 8s, a 5th and a 7th, right, on the Thursday. Yeah, just sort of a thought point that it's done a lot better than I expected it to do this week. I expect it to be fully pushed out.
To be fair, the deck's strong, as we've talked about, right? It just sort of, since it's mono green, the window of opportunity is very low.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty good. And you can obviously just naturally hate the hate pieces, if you know what I mean. So it's a pretty strong deck.
The Colgate list in first, sorry. Talking about a strong deck that you don't expect to see. Yeah, just Colgate's doing Colgate things. It's basically the stockest Colgates you can get with the 4 journeys, 4 modern ages. Orcs, cats, 2 outlaws, 1 guardian. It's literally like if you asked ChatGPT to make you a Colgate list, this is probably the list that it would build. Yeah, but just deck is good. Got the weird Breath Weapons Fiery Cannonade split 1/1 going on in the sideboard, which is sort of strange. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, other than is Breath Weapon still way more expensive?
Yes, is the answer.
Because there's no particular dragons, is there, that you want to deal 2 to, as opposed to there still is pirates with Rally Red?
I don't think so.
I guess a Venue Hunter, but it's 4 toughness, isn't it? But,
yeah.
Yeah, but cool to see Colgates do well, even if it's just not even bothering to do anything new.
Yep, still a strong contender, right? Just, again, a lot of people will pick it up, put it back down, and then spend, 3 months touching grass and trying to feel something again after playing a tournament at Colgates.
Outside of that, there wasn't too much else really going on. The 7th place Madness had the Skittering Kitten, or
Masked
Spider-Man. Yeah, Masked Cat, Spider-Man Cat, as a 4 of, instead of the Epicures, which is interesting. That definitely seems wrong to me, because Epicure doesn't look that ugly, but is also probably just a better card.
Fair enough.
I don't know, like the kitten seems sort of fine on turn 1, basically. But after turn 1, it sort of feels like you would rather just have Epicure. Bit of a bit of a weird one. Obviously, we've seen people take out the flame breathers before and have both. I've tested that both, and I was not a fan. But just like replacing Epicure is an interesting one because I was a big fan of Epicure.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of Epicure, to be fair myself. And I do think, like, if you are going to put the kitten in personally, I do think you probably do look at taking out the flame breather is the thing if you really want that card. But yeah, I think Epicure is just too good, right?
Yeah, that was sort of my thoughts. And I just really hate the kitten art in paper. It just like throws me off every time.
And there's also that, I guess.
Yeah. Other than that, not too much going on. The dredge list was the same as Season of Mist, with the 3 Gnaws from the Thursday. 2 spy lists. They're both just the wall spy sort of stock-ish list. They're both 2 Lotus Petal, 4 lands, right?
Yeah.
2 Elves of Deep Shadow, 4 Sagus. So yeah, literally just, I think they might even, the one's got an extra Mesfiend. Nothing too spicy going on. Haunt and Misery is in the sideboard of one as well, which is sort of a more older spy tech, I guess. That doesn't seem that required anymore.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's better ways to avoid graveyard hit nowadays than Haunt and Misery.
Yeah, anything else you want to touch on?
Unfortunately not. Sunday's definitely getting a name for itself of being the vanilla of challenges, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, at the moment, like, the format is not solved, but, like, very developed. As we've spoke about previously, like, the new sets aren't giving us a lot of new cards, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, you see standard, like, they get Owlbear Cub or whatever it's called, Spider Bear Cub from Avatar. I don't know, that mythic owlbear thing from Avatar that is now in every standard deck ever.
Okay.
We're not really getting that, but that's not really a negative. It just means the format moves slower than we've been used to with all the Horizon stuff. But seeing lorwyn cards this early to me is a positive. Because I think, like, now the sets we are getting are pretty slow burners, so getting them coming that fast leaves me hopeful that we'll see other cards as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, though, the thing that I do like about this, the fact that they are developed, as we've sort of touched on, it does give that eternal format vibe, right? Like, it gives time for, like, these elves sideboards, for example, to basically, the people get a chance to explore and test, and you end up with these sideboards that we wouldn't have if the format changed that period, because people don't have time to master these sideboards and decks and stuff like that. So it's really good. You get a lot of testing, but it's more internally into decks, like the whole Delver Cutting and, Adam Mystic and stuff like that.
And harder for content.
Yes. But yeah, I've got nothing else to add, really.
No.
Moving on to our listener question. Well, I got vetoed on this one, to be fair. It's not my choice, but it's not a bad choice. It's a cool choice, but yeah, it's from Vicious. Is that what we're going with? Vicious Snack. This is a very biased question towards Reese, so Reese will be answering this. This is probably the last time I will speak. But the question is, do either of you cube? And if so, what kind of cube do you like? And do you either of you own a cube? My answer is yes, I cube on occasion, usually when Reese invites me around to cube. And then I do not own a cube to an extent. I have nothing built. I don't really have anything built. Reese, take it away.
Yeah, I've seen the Teasdale MTG Cube videos.
Yeah, those were early supporter. Look at that.
So as sort of Teasdale has insinuated, I like to cube. I enjoy cube. I think we've spoke about it probably before, but having Magic in a box, essentially, or game in a box, Magic stuff is quite appealing at the moment. So I've got like Dan type things, and cube sort of fits into that. The cubes that I've got 2 at the moment. I'm sort of working on a pauper cube, but more a pauper cube sort of aimed at replicating some of the stuff we get from the format rather than Pauper Cube, as in everything is a common. So I'm trying to focus on like archetypes that are in contemporary Pauper, which is quite cool. And then my other cube is a desert cube, which, if anyone doesn't know, it's where you basically don't add the basic lands to your deck. All the lands you play in the draft. So you draft sort of larger packs. But yeah, cube's great. You can basically do what you want to do. You can design it in any way you see fit. Both of mine are designed to be drafted with 4 people, mainly because when we go out for pints or when people come around, like, there's usually not 8 of us, so having a huge cube is sort of pointless. Where 4 is like a reasonable number to be like, do you want to go and get a pint in cube? And you'll usually have 4 people that say yes.
Well, 3 others.
Yeah, you usually have 3 other people that say yes, but trying to get 7 people to say yes is a bit of a task.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cube's great. I like Vintage Cube as well. I watch a lot of LSV's Cube content. Yeah, it's sick.
I think, to be fair, for me, Cube and sort of cards in a box is sort of very appealing to me in general, just as a tangent. Like, I'm a big fan of Party Box, big fan of, obviously, Reese's Cubes and, you know, all that sort of stuff that basically, I like the idea of basically, here you go, come round, all you have to do is bring some dice and a playmat, and even that's a stretch sort of thing.
Yeah. Bring yourself.
Yeah. Which is just a really cool way, because there's so many different formats at the moment. There's so many different ways to play Magic. Like, for me, I just like the idea of I don't have to think about it. Reese is doing all the thinking, basically, and I just turn up. Which is a really good way to experience Magic, to be fair, because Reese and people who like to build cubes and pie boxes and all that sort of stuff, they get to put their own spin on it. Like, I really like your Pauper, but actually Pauper cube, because it feels like Pauper, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, you're not seeing like random old commons that are not played, like a recoil that's like pretty decent in limited, but you never see it in any other like guys. Like, you don't see it in any other format. Yeah.
So I really like it. I also really like the party box sort of side of things as well. It's a big one that obviously Carl showed us the light to at Nationals. It's sort of like a thing a lot of the friends group a lot of the time buy, like random packs from card games when we're away and stuff like that. So it's just a really cool way to experience Magic in all sorts of stuff. But I highly recommend you should have a friend that at least likes to build cubes. If not, go find one. But you can't have Reese because he's mine.
Well. Yeah, shout out to Dan as well. That's another really good one. But even small, like you only need 2 people. It's a really good one. If you just go for a drink or something and you're like, oh, we want something to play, just take that down. It's class.
Sure. I've only ever played it once, so I can't really comment on that one. But yeah, definitely pretty cool. Definitely, you should have someone in your social circle that cubes or has those sort of cards in a box. It is definitely. Battle boxes, again, to an extent, are also very similar. If you really like a format and want to experience a format, people can put these battle boxes together to be, you know, I don't know, Legion's standard if they really wanted to. You can put your own spin on it. Most of the time, people do just Pauper and things like that. But yeah, these sort of things in a box are definitely a cool way to experience Magic, and definitely on the up, for sure. Anything else to add about your Cuban?
I don't know. It's a deep rabbit hole. If you fall into it, you'll just continue to make things forever. So be wary.
A good way of doing it, if you are curious about cubes and stuff, join the Discord. That's a good thing to do. And then go in on the general and write at Reese, and then just you can talk cube all day long. He'll reply to that one.
If you tag me, I'll try and reply.
There you go. If you want to talk cube. Anything else?
No, that's it from me.
That is all from us at Casting Commons. Thank you all for your continued support. Do not forget to tell your friends, your family, and your bus driver. Until next time, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Peace!
Bye.